The story starts, all-knowing and generous Para. Please, take me into your arms without too much pain. Allow me not to waver before pain, and continue to have faith in God's plans and endure. The gate is open. Arrest the traitors. Pain is fleeting. But the fruit of patience will be sweet. Find her. This way. This is the only room remaining. Break down the door. My. So the rumors were true. She really is a beauty. So even in the midst of all this mess, you're still a duchess, is that it? Duchess Adele Lancaster. Are you going to execute me here? No, by the order of the Emperor, I will take you alive as prisoner. When did it all go wrong? Accepting my share of accountability in this old chair, I pondered the honor and pride of a noble. I foolishly endured through everything for such silly things, but I can't even die as I wish. The perfect lady, Adele Lancaster. She hasn't been the Duchess of Lancaster for too long. 3 years ago. Look over there. It's Adele Canyon. I heard she is engaged to the Duke Lancaster. Even if the Lancasters are one of the 4 most prominent families, it's still distasteful. To marry such an old duke, precisely, this year, the duke turned, hush, someone might hear you. More importantly, just look at how steadfast she is. My goodness, does this not bother her in the least? I don't know what she's thinking. Count Canyon's only daughter, Adele Canyon. There are 4 extraordinarily powerful families in the empire. Adele, raised and groomed to be married off to one of these families, finally fulfilled her purpose. And so, she lived a year and 8 months as the old duke's wife. Who could have guessed that this perfect lady was nothing more than a means to bring the 2 families together, and due to the duke's treasonous plan to declare independence from the empire, she would become the wife of a traitor. Finally, the greatest spoils of this war. Duke Lancaster's second wife, Adele Lancaster. All my life, I was born and raised for a single purpose. I collapsed where I was standing because I was too afraid to run. I couldn't bear the thought of facing my death on the floor, so I dragged an old chair over to sit, all because of my feudal honor. It may be all I have left, but still, I can't crumble to the very end. Your Majesty. Give the treacherous criminal to me. No. I probably took more enemy lives than him. Sir, take pity on this old widower. Why don't we decide who gets the prisoner with a duel? I guess no one here has any dignity left. But it's understandable. Adele Lancaster was praised as the perfect lady of nobility. Well, she's nothing more than a slave now. All the more reason not to hold back. Emperor Demarcus Tuberine. I almost forgot about the greatest contributor in suppressing the rebellion when he's standing right here. Isn't that right? Tell me, Laszlo. Are you not in need of a woman? If you would like, I will give the greatest spoils of war to you. She got married to the wrong man and now she's ruined. And that commoner, he's thriving, isn't he? He's been made a count, and now this. Why does His Majesty want to endow him of all people with the greatest spoils of war? From what I recall, he used to be a mercenary. Then again, what does that have anything to do with me now? At this point, he's no different to me than any other knight. However, the man who brought me here, Laszlo Chrysis. The master of the empire's largest mercenary guild, Calliope. And the man who was made count at the young age of 27 because of his military achievements. To the traditional nobles, he is by far the biggest threat, among the nouveau riche noblemen on the emperor's side. However, from what I heard, the nobles who treat mercenaries like delinquents, look down on him and treat him like a commoner. Sure. Lon W.I., my maids are short-handed, though. Ha. Ha ha ha. Are you saying you want to use the woman who was once a duchess as a maid? I don't have any other use for her. Good, very good. I will endow Edeli Lancaster to Count Laszlo Chrysis, who is in need of more maids. Edeli Canyon. Stop being so stubborn. Do you think you can really defy your father? But mother, the Duke is even older than father, so how could I marry? No, there isn't a better suitor out there. He's had a lover for a very long time now, and his children are all grown up. He wouldn't try to sleep with you to have more children. Besides, when he pies, you will be left with all of his assets. You don't even know when he will die. I would probably be at least 30 by then. You really don't get it, do you? When you become the Duchess, even your father will bow down before you. What is it you don't like about this arrangement? Becoming the Duchess of one of the 4 most prominent families, please, father. This isn't what I want. Please reconsider, has been a destiny that had been decided for me long ago. How dare you? If anything, you should be more actively involved in this family's endeavors. Do you have any idea what kind of humiliation I had to endure so you could marry the Duke? I of all people, am doing all this for you, you worthless girl. Or have you forgotten why I raised you? I can finally be free from my father. I can leave the house of Count Canyon. That was the only thought in my mind as I endured everything. I was relieved the Duke was too busy with his lover to lay a finger on me. So I was patient. Despite all the jeering from the people of the Lancaster family, I persisted. I kept dozens and dozens of account books while managing hundreds of staff. And I kept my patience. I entertained guests who visited day after day and hosted endless parties, and I held firm. I didn't slip up once. I kept up the act with a smile on my lips, all for the moment I would finally be free. However, perhaps such efforts were all for nothing. You must run, my lady. What do you? The Emperor's army is storming this place. Up until that moment, I had no idea. I was the only one kept in the dark about Duke Lancaster's plans to declare independence. The plot he hatched without me failed. And I realized something while running down the empty corridors. Huff. Huff huff. I don't see anything. Where did all the staff go? I was the lure that would keep the Emperor's army at bay. The kind of life I longed for was one filled with the warmth of others and supportive validation. But even though I was in charge of all those account books and staff, only one butler bothered to warn me. It turns out I never truly held any part of this large estate in my hands. I became the perfect lady my father always wanted me to be. My life that was praised was nothing but an empty shell. Perhaps all the pain I endured were signs from God telling me to run. Now stay quiet. Who knew something worse than death awaited me? They call me the spoils of war, but in reality, I am nothing more than a slave. They just call me that because slavery has long been abolished. Are you still acting all high and mighty even now? Well, aren't you the incredible and perfect lady? Duke Lancaster's eldest daughter, Lauren Lancaster. She's always been like that from the moment she got married. Duke Lancaster's second daughter, Daria Lancaster. Her own family sold her off, but she's always acting like she's a real duchess. I bet she helped her father, too. We made you the Duchess, you traitor. You ungrateful wench. It's not the first time they've expressed their disapproval of me, but they've never been so crude before. They're worn out and have completely given up. Why don't you get some sleep, Lauren? You too, Daria. I don't want to waste my energy on a meaningless exchange of vicious words. Sooner or later, there will come a time when the guards aren't watching closely. When that time comes, I need to have enough energy to kill myself. I would rather die than become someone's plaything. All the Lancaster men have died, and the House of Canyon was able to avert annihilation by giving up on me. Count Chrysis said he would use me as his maid, but a young female prisoner of war will hardly be treated like a human being. Even now, the only reason I'm in a tolerable cell despite being a serious criminal charged with high treason is because I am a gift that the Emperor is giving away. It feels like my whole body is screaming in pain. My head aches too. I should sleep for now. I'm sure I'll think of something when I wake up. I have to figure out a way to kill myself, I guess old habits really do die hard. I was completely exhausted, yet I woke up at this hour. Today, I will be handed off to Count Chrysis. No matter what it takes, I have to find an opportunity to die. That means this is the last sunrise I'll ever get to see in this life. It almost seems like this glimmer of sunlight shining through the window of my small cell is bidding me goodbye. The sky is unbelievably beautiful. The final meal they served was relatively lavish for a criminal. Keeping in mind that this is my last meal, I took each bite with a grain of gratitude. Lauren Lancaster. Daria Lancaster. Come on out. I pray that nothing atrocious happens to those poor girls. Adelie Lancaster. Come out. Now, there is only one thing I must do. To remain elegant until the moment I die. Let's jump off the carriage. If the servant doesn't keep too close an eye on me, I might succeed. If his estate is in the neighborhood where other noble estates are located, there'll be many carriages passing by. If I'm lucky, I could die on impact. Hopefully, the servant who is taking me is inept. I didn't think he would come to get me himself. He probably came so he could personally keep an eye on me. What if he tries to talk to me? He probably doesn't like me. After all, he was the commander of the emperor's army. How could he look favorably upon me, the wife of a traitor? Whyru? Then stop shivering. Oh, I guess my hands were trembling. That's why he gave me his cloak. If I throw this cloak toward him, would that buy me enough time to jump off of this carriage? Yes, once I jump off, I'll be crushed to death by the carriage's wheels. I can do it. I can hear a distant carriage approaching. I'll count to 3 and then I'll open the door to jump off. 1. 2. It'd be better you didn't do that. He knows. That's why he put me in the same carriage as him. This man will definitely not leave me alone. Get off. So this is it. The hell that I will be living in. My ankle. Huh? Why doesn't it hurt? I always remember what a noble lady mustn't do. Keep in mind that acting like you're dizzy to fall into the arms of a man is a cheap and vulgar way to win over his heart. I am sorry. I hope he doesn't misunderstand me. Follow me. Head housekeeper. I take it nothing happened at the estate while I was away? Head housekeeper? Welcome back, my lord. Ha ha ha, nothing out of the ordinary. Your housekeeper Marcia is taking good care of the estate, so please do not worry. Why isn't there a butler answering him? Did you say you were short on maids? Here's a new maid. Use her as you see fit. First give her a bath, feed her, and give her a room to sleep in. What? You can let her use any of the rooms that we aren't already using. Put her to work starting tomorrow. He didn't ask her to send me over to his room, he's really using me as a maid? Ha! As short and to the point as ever. Mrs. Bohen, have you heard? What is it, Mina? I just heard it from the night outside. That's Duchess Lancaster who was captured as a prisoner of war, is that so? I can't believe I get to order around a duchess. Mina. Do as Lord Chrysis ordered. Show her to the room at the end of the corridor. Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna go mull over what to do with Miss Lady over there. They're kinder than I'd expected. I got a change of clothes, and they even brought my food to my room. So I guess people live in rooms this small. It feels as though everything about this situation is telling me, you're not a noble anymore. I'm so cold. I guess they don't let the staff use hot water in this house. From now on, I'll probably have to bathe in cold water even during the winter. How odd. It's not like they would have financial problems. But this house is so shabby considering it belongs to a count. No, let's not think about this anymore. Right now, I have to look at the reality in front of me. I'm more fascinated by the fact that I feel hungry after all that I've been through. It's delicious. I thought I would never take another bite of a fruit ever again. I was going to give up on my life, but it's not like I thought death was my only option. I just didn't want to live as some plaything, to satisfy filthy desires just because I am a spoil of war. I'm alive. Will I be able to taste fruit again tomorrow? Perhaps Count Chrysis won't try to lay with me tomorrow either. I want to taste the sweet nectar of fruit again, and live quietly fending for myself. Perhaps I could lead a simple life as a maid here. I'll survive and carry on, waiting for the day I can live in peace. Sir Chrysis came to pick up the prisoner himself this evening. I'm sure he did. How did he seem to you? Did he seem like a man who has been awarded the greatest spoil of war? What? I wouldn't know, sir. Everyone else might not know, but I do. I know the true nature of mercenary King Laszlo. He signed a contract and joined the conquest last minute. He only agreed to the contract for the reward money, but he and his band of mercenaries achieved more than the knights could ever imagine. Laszlo. Tell me what you want, anything at all. The contract explicitly says how much I am owed. I do not need anything more. Despite having all that power, he has no interest in social authority or status. And to top it all off, the audacity to be so brazen. Why, he would make the perfect dog. But in order to make him more than just a loyal hound, I need to lure him with something that would captivate him. Making him a count isn't enough. Ah, yes. That encounter took place about 2 years ago, at the victory banquet. Did that mercenary really become a count? Yes, it's true. Surely, he would want to be treated as our equals, just thinking about it makes me queasy. What on earth is His Majesty thinking? Though he was the principal driving force behind our victory, he was not welcomed there. In that moment, Laszlo definitely had his eyes on Adele Lancaster. That is worth a gamble. The die has been cast, so now, it's time to watch. Brace yourself. I've never lost a bet in gambling. Darn that snake of an emperor. What's he after? I didn't expect the Duchess and I to cross paths like this. This is going to give me a bad headache. The only reason I agreed to the Emperor's offer and accepted the pesky noble title was so my little sister could be married off to a decent family. Maybe I shouldn't have been so greedy. Though I became nobility, since I am of common birth and a mercenary, they will hold me in contempt anyway. It's obvious how my sister will be treated in marriage negotiations. From what I've witnessed so far, marriage among nobles is vulgar. A father who sells off his daughter to an old man to make connections with one of the 4 most prominent families. An old duke who already has a lover and grown children but is still getting remarried. And in these crude negotiations, the lady who was sold off at the highest price, Adele Lancaster. Even though she was being married off to the old coot as a second wife, she was still smiling. If she were really against the marriage, she would have ran away. Did she exchange her youth for power because of her greed? But why couldn't I take my eyes off of her? It's not like I would ever have the chance to speak with her. Unlike me, who became nobility overnight, she was born into nobility and lived her whole life as a noble. I thought I would never get to see her again. But that very same Adele Lancaster is at my house as a maid. That devious emperor. He gave the ex-duchess to me as a warning to those who conspired against him, or something along those lines. If I had refused to take her, she would have been sold off, or she may have killed herself. Those were probably her 2 options. She was found in the Duke's empty castle after everyone else had fled. Count Canyon cut all ties to his own daughter to keep his own neck. Both the Count and the Duke forsook her. She tried to kill herself because of that, nobles and their pride. I don't get what it is she's trying to protect by throwing her life away, but if I keep her around, I might find a use for her. If she could break from her past, her life may not be the worst it could be. Look here, Duchess. What is this? So I guess the house you're from used dirty old rags like these? Were you too afraid to get your soft hands dirty when you were washing these? I'll do better. Of course you will. Hey, Salia. Why yes. Are you sure you trained her properly? Don't go easy on this one and keep a close eye on her. This wench is a traitor from the House of Lancaster, our master captured. Who knows what she might try to cook up? Are you certain there won't be any blowback even if you say things like that? What are you afraid of? You think the Duke will come back from the grave for his poor wife? There's nothing to worry about, so treat her however you'd like. Head housekeeper Madame Marcia Bohen, so this is what she meant yesterday. I can't believe I get to order around a duchess. I guess she wants to show everyone how great she is, by overpowering a former duchess like myself. She's been like this from the moment she introduced me to the rest of the house staff. Does she want me to break into tears? This is all very unnecessary. Because there's probably no one else out there who's happier about the demise of the House of Lancaster. But more importantly, she's finally gone. Ugh, I can't believe she has the nerve to speak of the dead like that. Bohen being rude like this isn't anything surprising. We're already busy as it is, so I don't get why she comes to give us a hard time. Salia is the maid in charge of the laundry room. Madame Bohen specifically picked her to train me, a former duchess, putting her in an uncomfortable position. If we get picked on again because I didn't do the laundry properly, it would make everyone else's life harder, so let's finish what's in front of me right now. I don't care about being ridiculed. The problem is, I'm not sure I have the stamina to withstand all this work. All of this is possible because I'm alive, so let's just be grateful. Ideally, that useless girl. She's a worthless, useless excuse for a daughter. Father. What do we do now? Ideally has become that mercenary's maid, William. Don't mention that worthless girl anymore. The ingrate who doesn't even have the decency to take her own life before she is humiliated. Ideally's father, Dustin Canyon. After all I went through to keep this house intact. Please believe me, Your Highness. Duke Lancaster blackmailed me into helping him commit treason. He took my daughter Ideally against my will and kept her hostage, so as a father, how could I refuse him? I see. If you insist that the House of Canyon is innocent, then I'm sure you have nothing to say about what becomes of Duchess Ideally Lancaster. I'm in. Why, of course, Your Highness. She has nothing to do with us. I got on my knees and begged him for mercy, not to mention offering him the Duke's family secrets on top of half of all my assets. I survived despite the ridicule and humiliation I had to suffer through. DeMarcus of the Tuberine imperial family. He took the throne after his incompetent father, and brought on a commoner to bolster the throne's power. He isn't afraid of sinister and malevolent ways so long as the ends justify the means. He's trying to make an example out of my house to keep the high nobles in line. He turned Ideally, that incompetent fool, into that dirty mercenary's toy, to tarnish the reputation of the Canyon House and to warn the other nobles. Yes, that is exactly what he was after all along, Dustin. William, Geoffrey. Keep a low profile for the time being. Since the Emperor got himself a trusty hound, he has nothing to fear. Yes, Father. You just wait and see. I will build myself up again, and make sure no one can ever look down on the House of Canyon. No matter what it takes. Delhi. Ideally. Wait for us. Salia. And, Layla? You're on your way to hang the sheets to dry, right? It won't be easy to do on your own. Let's do it together since we're headed there too. It's already been 10 days since I came to this house. If someone were to ask me what I've done in this house, I could proudly tell them that although I am a mere spoils of war, I worked hard as a maid in the laundry room. Because of it, I've gotten rather good at doing the laundry. However, if I had to complain, hey, Duchess. Your laundry is a complete mess today, too. Are you intentionally ignoring me, or are you just that dull? It would be Madame Bohen who keeps coming around to pick on me. Speak up if you've got something to say. Excuse me, Madame Bohen. What? Considering that she only just began learning, she's doing quite well. I'm training her just fine, so why don't you return to your station and do your own job? What I'm trying to say here is, I'm the one in charge of the laundry room. We're already swamped as it is, so please stop doing this. Being busy is one thing, but ugh. Then why don't you show her how it's done? Here's a dirty rag. Why don't you show her how to get it nice and clean? I may be leaving you now, but I'll be watching. Do your job properly. Is it okay for you to say that, Salia? What's there not to be okay with? Keeps dropping by like that, it's a nuisance for us, too. Still, thank you. Well, it's not like she's gonna try to get back at us, so don't worry. But even that should go away in a couple days, so there's nothing for you to worry about. She's just that kind of a person. Okay, we have a lot of work to do, so let's get back to it. The head housekeeper who is harassing me, the former duchess. Salia, who helps me as if she doesn't care that I'm the spoils of war. And the other maids who are suffering because of me. I haven't even had the chance to speak to them or ask them what they think about all this. I hope I'm not causing them too much trouble. I wonder if they're all okay. Maybe they don't have the leisure to think about anyone else. There is just so much work that my hands are all blistered and chapped. I worry about the maids too, but Count Chrysis hasn't asked for me in the last 10 days. It's almost as if he's forgotten all about me. I'm just relieved I could live as a maid. Would it anger the dead for me to say this? But I'm just happy and grateful to be free of the Lancasters. I'll do my best tomorrow, too. I pray that today ends peacefully, too. I pray that the night remains calm. I hope to take another bite of an apple tomorrow. Who could it be at this hour? It can't be. But what if Count Chrysis changed his mind? Is he here to sleep with me? Who is it? This is just the beginning. Next part coming soon. Don't miss what happens next.